your man DJ Playboy, Miss Perfect Touch, and your boy Keith in the building. What's going on, y'all? What's good, Keith?
Feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How are you ready to get this thing going?
I'm chilling, man. Shout out to everybody out there listening to us. Make sure you check us out on Twitter, Perfect Talk Pod. Also, Perfect Talk Radio on Instagram. Make sure you follow us. Keep up with everything that we got going on. Shout out to everybody out there. Y'all like Beyonce? Y'all Beyonce fans?
The Beyhive.
do y'all like, personally though? Y'all like Beyonce's music?
Yeah.
Watch it now. The Hive's listening.
She's good. She's talented as hell. She could dance her ass off, sing. She could literally do everything. I mean, the lyrics, I'm not a huge fan of, but I think that's just because I can't make a connection to it. I think she's, with all that said, she's one of the most talented out there. Probably one of the most talented ever.
I like Beyonce. I think I was more into her earlier stuff though. That what is it? Obviously Destiny's Child was good, but when she first went solo, that Crazy in Love album, that was dope. Deja Vu was a little, but I think she bounced back. You know what I mean? She did. And she is an icon nowadays. I don't know if she's ever gonna. I think she might be up there with Prince and Mike when it's all said and done. She has the.
But it's not done.
It's not exactly.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
LeBron still
yeah,
playing.
yeah.
So you know what I mean. We got to see where it goes. How you feel about it, Nish?
I mean, personally, I like Beyonce. You know, she's one of those women that are just like, you don't hear, when you do hear about her, it's not like constantly like she did this and
Drama.
She was real malicious towards somebody else, and you know, you don't hear it. The worst thing I probably say you heard was about the whole in the elevator, and she ain't even swing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo.
Didn't she have? This could just be rumor. Didn't she have Dream when she made Dreamgirls? Didn't she have a little something with Jennifer Hudson, or was that more Jennifer Hudson not feeling the attention Beyonce was getting?
Some things will just never. I think Beyonce has the power to make things disappear too. Cause I don't even know. I didn't really know too much about that situation.
But people stop talking about it
yeah,
after a while.
It's just like, all right, like let's erase that from B's history.
Look at these Grammys right here.
Yeah, like.
Well, I asked that because today's episode, shout out to the Beyhive, is all Beyonce. We got a couple of things to talk about. She's big in the news right now. You can't look left or right without seeing Beyonce. Beyonce and Trump popping right now in the news. So we're gonna focus strictly on Beyonce. And I think first things first is she's pregnant. She's having twins, right?
Yep.
All right.
Not a one of them, but a two of them.
she announced that recently. In a weird type of way though. She released it in the form of a photo, I believe. It was, maybe Keith could describe it a little bit better. You know what the photo looked like, Keith?
I mean, because you know me, you know how I follow Beyonce. So,
No, we don't know how you. Should we know,
So
Keith?
about 2 weeks ago, well, today's date?
Today's 19th.
Today's the 19th of February. So about 2 weeks ago, Beyonce released announced her pregnancy on Instagram. Here she's wearing a green veil, I guess it's sea foam, covering her face and half her body, and she's holding a pregnant stomach.
You got the picture up?
Yeah, I got the picture
Let
up.
me see if I can see that.
Yeah, come around, see that. And she pretty much has it in the caption. You know, I'm pregnant, about to add to our family by 2. So, I mean, me personally, not that I hate social media or announce certain things on social media, but I don't know.
You saw that now? Did you feel that was distasteful in some type of way, or
Not distasteful, but I always wonder what Jay-Z felt like. What he's a discreet fella, so I always wondered if he had it his way, would he make his announcement in such a way, or would he tell like his closest people?
or with a better picture, maybe? Or...
Oh, it's a nice picture. I mean, I have a particular fondness for floral arrangements. If you see that flower wall behind her, because my fiance, Beyonce does floral art. So
I thought you were going a different direction, but I have a certain appreciation for pregnant chicks.
I search query on the internet site. It ain't that advanced yet.
Certain fetishes, huh? You can't knock it.
It ain't that involved.
But so you think like that the way that she expressed the pregnancy, or announced it, I should say, might be something that a private person like Jay-Z might not be too keen upon, just because he might have wanted to do an interview for him, you think, maybe? Or
hell no to an interview, but just
tell
in
his
general,
closest friends.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
family.
your kid is something kind of personal, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it depends on your taste, but my taste, I tend to like to keep personal stuff personal, you know what I'm saying? I'm not totally shut off, but for instance, My fiance thought I was crazy because I wanted a password for the part of our wedding site that tells like where the wedding is and what time it is and the venue and all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, why do we need a password? Was somebody gonna sneak in? I'm like, you never know. I just don't want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't even want to leave that an option for somebody to think about even trying to do that. But I will say with Hove, I believe if it was up to Hove probably we wouldn't have known about the babies until they were probably like 2 or 3 or some shit. Like, yo,
She a walking ass baby. Baby got a W-2.
Like, yo,
oh man, a kid.
like, damn, he got 2 of them. Like, I don't know, but I mean, it's just interesting though what people do put on Facebook and all that other extra stuff. But to each his own.
Yeah, definitely to each his own. Like at first, I used to hate on people who put a lot of stuff on social media, put their personal life, pictures of their family, and pictures of everything they're doing, pictures of what they have for lunch at work, and all this stuff. But I see what it is. I can see how that's fun. It's not me, but I have fun looking at them. I won't lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So. I could definitely see what it is. It's just that me. I guess it's me being a cranky old man. My generation, I live half my life writing letters and the other half doing Facebook stuff or AIM or whatever. So sometimes I want to hold on to some of that, I guess, tradition of not going online and see what somebody's doing, but hitting them up and be like, yo, what's good? What you been up to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's also could be where we're from in a sense where when you went to the outlets or you went to the mall or something, you didn't want all your neighbors seeing what bags you were coming in with.
Yeah.
And then you got Kim Kardashian out here. She's just showing all the jewelry on Facebook, Instagram, and then they get ran up on. You know what I mean? So it's a certain level of privacy and protection that you got to put on yourself, and I think people lose that. And some people are just born into this Facebook, social media life that they don't know the risk. So when something happens to them, they're like, oh, how do I move on from this? Like,
it's like trying to keep up with the Joneses too. That's just. I mean, my mom used to always talk about that too, and I never forget when I was moving out of somewhere and my mom was like, okay, make sure you do it kind of at night. I don't want people seeing what you got, da-da-da-da. And then, I have some people that'll be like, when they moving into a new spot, yo, new spot.
Taking pictures of it. Back door entrance.
Just put the couch down.
What's funny is that I used to move around, especially when I went to school out in Long Island. When I went back to Brooklyn, I used to move around like I was moving kilos and shit like that. Because I would roll back to the crib. I have my whole shit blasting my Nelly or whatever I'm playing at the time. All
wait.
on you.
But then, as soon as I hit my corner,
Nelly,
I turn my shit.
We can't let you get away with what you just said.
It was 2015 also. That's the funny part about it.
No, I'm talking about back in the day in 2006. You know what I'm saying? I have my whole mixtape that I downloaded off of Kazaa. Have my shit downloaded off of Ari's and shit. Yeah, and I'll turn my volume down as soon as I hit the corner because it's just something about, I don't know, I think just had PTSD from growing up from where we grew up from.
Like Juxon.
Yeah, Juxon. You don't want nobody seeing what you got. You don't want to appear like you're doing well in life at all.
Man.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't brush my teeth before
total
I
opposite message. It's true, man, because you will become a victim really quick. And it's also I was like that with vacations. You know how people be like on the plane, like just landed, like nah, come on, friend, you gonna get somebody gonna run in your crib. Like you got to be careful with that type of stuff that you put out there. Back to the Beyonce thing with the pregnancy though, like when I was having a kid, my kid's mom, she had to teach me all the social media rules on how you announce it. You know what I mean? You wait this certain amount of time and this is how you make it known and blah, blah, blah. Because I would have just been out there willy-nilly.
The social media rules?
Yeah, well, because I'm not a big social media person, so you might have just seen me with a kid one day, like, just pop it. You know what I mean? Like, no pregnancy pictures. Yeah, exactly. But, I'm like that myself. I don't like putting too much information out there because people could use that against you. And then, you know what I mean? You're like, how do they know this about me? Because you gave all that information, man. Like, you told them.
Yeah. You ever have that one friend that's just, like, puts everything up there, and then they come and vent to you like, y'all don't know how she know, you know what I'm saying, all in my business. I'm like,
exactly.
Yo, but your business is, you just updated 2 minutes ago that you was
single, or just broke up with him, or da da da. Yo, and then when the people like that love the sad stuff, people love to spread misery on social media. That's why I had to fall back from it a little bit. It's like, yo, I'd rather someone faking and fronting, showing me the highlight reel, then you wanting to every day you got something sad going on, fam. Like, yo, talk to somebody. Like, tell somebody else. Like, I don't need to like look at my feed and that's the first thing I see. But I think there's a certain addictive nature to that. Like, people, misery likes company, and like, yo, I'm gonna spread this. Like, I ain't dealing with this by myself. Like me and Keith know somebody that put a lot of wild stuff when he was going through a situation online, and it was just like I'm looking at it like, damn, like, fam, I'm not cool with him like that. But I would have, if I was his friend, I'd have been like, yo, fall back, like, you know what I mean? Because you're putting a lot of information out there that one could be used against you in a court of law, but two, got you looking kind of wild, you know what I mean? And I knew the emotions he was going through because I went through it myself, and it was just like, you gotta not hit send, you gotta, you know what I mean?
I mean, but the cool thing about the cool thing about the situation is that we know him, but we not friends with him, so it makes for good comedy. So he would just say some wild stuff on the internet about his whole family situation.
Real wild stuff.
So I'll be on there commenting like, yeah, dog, just trying to amp him up because I don't want him coming to his senses and stop posting.
Entertainment would stop.
Like, yo, dog, it's crazy out there, kid. I'm like, yo, it's us against the world, son. Keep posting.
But back to, like I said, Beyonce. So she announces pregnancy. I think a lot of people were nervous too because she's headlining Coachella, and they're like, "Yo, I just paid like $300, $400 for these tickets. What's really good with the performance?" But I think she confirmed she is going. She's going to perform.
She's still eating though.
Oh yeah, no
she
doubt.
still get like a meal, right?
She will sit down there with a guitar and a stool, and it'll be the Beyonce acoustic concert.
And they will still love her. You know what I mean? Still love her.
Because Beyonce's a different thing. Because when Lauryn Hill did it, she lost her career.
She lost everyone.
But when you buy a Beyonce ticket, aren't you paying for the pomp and circumstance of the show, the nonstop dancing, her hair might get caught in the fan, but she's gonna keep it moving, like that's what you want when you pay for that. I think.
Well, yeah, you paying for B, and I think she's such a master at entertainment that she won't have to move an inch and she'll do her thing. So I would still pay for a pregnant Beyonce concert. I mean, I wouldn't expect a dancer, but I would feel confident that I'm gonna see a good show.
Yeah.
I would be like, damn, you know what? This doesn't happen, you know what I mean, often. So I'm about to go to this show where Beyonce's there. She got her two little ones inside. This means the concert could probably be that much bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? She's bringing in other featured acts and whatnot. So I mean, I would be kind of gassed up to go.
Let them kids get famous, you know what I mean? It'd be the picture. Your mommy was performing with you.
Low key, your water might break. This shit can change the game. Like,
yo, that would be a game changer.
That's what I'm saying.
Beyonce
like,
joint she going to labor right on stage.
And it's kind of funny now because Blue Ivy, like, I mean, I don't keep up with Blue Ivy. I don't know, but I can recognize her in the picture right away. Like, you showing me her, I'm like, all right, that's Jay-Z, Beyonce face mashed together. Like, you see it in 2 seconds. Like, so she could become her own icon, and these twins could become their own icons in a sense, just because of who their parents are. You know what I mean?
Oh, they will.
You know what makes me nervous with that though? Like, Jay-Z is a drug dealer. He sold a lot of drugs. I don't know if you as a drug dealer think about the consequences of it. You're more so focused on the business aspect of it. For instance, if you sold alcohol or you sold Coca-Cola, you're not really worried about people who are alcoholics or people who have diabetes from your product. But I find it ironic now that he kind of has the concerns of he's so rich, it's likely that his kids could fall into the heroin epidemic, the opioid epidemic, just because of the people that they're going to be around and the access they have to those drugs. Like Dr. Dre's son overdosed, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like you reach a certain level of fame that becomes your concern, you know what I mean? Like, and that's ironic because you were a drug dealer, you know what I mean? And it's just something to think about. I was thinking about it the other day, and it just made me think, because how famous is too famous? You know what I mean? How rich is too rich? That's like, because that's gonna be a concern either way. You know what I mean? You live in the hood, you live in the suburbs, you're gonna have to worry about your kids getting caught up in that lifestyle. But that's like a whole nother level of just they're just so paid as kids. Like it's so hard to imagine, man.
Yeah, I mean, then you get those kids too who have been so sheltered from the outside world that, you know what I mean, now since they were so rich and chilling and everything, those kids want to be in the hood.
They
you know what I mean?
Exactly. They want to be.
That joint is weird.
Yeah, they talk about all that. I mean, you know, not to completely steer us right, but you know, prime example too, how they were even talking about with Chris Brown, you know, and Soulja Boy and all. Like, come on.
What explain? What do you mean? What were
they
saying?
I mean, with having Chris Brown, how he was just like this cool R&B kid to, you know, everything was cool, but then all of a sudden he just drugs and the whole thing that happened, he kind of, you know, spiraled down. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that Chris Brown was like that from day one, and like he's from Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they had to like tame that out of him. Like he was all like the kid that always got in the fights on the basketball court. Yeah.
See, I heard opposite.
Yeah, like he was. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah,
everyone can make up a story. But when it was, because remember he had the Rihanna thing, then he beat up a fan or something in the mall or something like that. But that's what the stories were coming.
Imagine, man, you a wild boy and they say, yo, man, you gotta go out and sing this song named Yo. Dance. You about to now hear me out, Christopher. So the concept of the video is that you ain't gonna talk to this, but yo, I just want to run up and say, yo, just come over here and date me. Be like, nah, you gotta dance.
I don't think he was a thug though. I think he was just like the kid with the temper, like the kid that was like, yo, they try to herb you, like he's bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he on the basketball court, someone's talking a little bit too much, like. He's that kid, you know what I mean? Not afraid to throw the punch first. So.
That is fascinating. Well, you know what's funny? It's like some of those bad boy R&B acts from back in the day. Some of them dudes is wild, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I heard Loon was a wild boy. I thought he was just like a wave cat. Remember Loon?
A bad boy, Loon?
Yeah, Loon, yeah. I heard he's a wild boy.
I heard Black Rob was a wild boy. He looked like a wild boy.
Yeah, well, Black Rob looked like a wild boy.
Yeah, I'm about to
say.
say.
Black Rob, I ain't messing with him.
How was Loon wild? Was he was a drug dealer or what?
I don't know. I just heard he... guns and drug dealers around, whatever that. I mean, I'm not from that street life. I was just from around the street life. I try to avoid it. I was able to see it. Yeah,
you ain't going
I was adjacent to the street life.
It's like I do podcasts. I ain't out here rapping.
Yeah, man. But the Beyonce thing. I mean, that's why I just tend to be more discreet. I mean, I don't want a certain type of fame, I guess. I guess that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? That social media sometimes it can get out of control what kind of fame you can get as an average person.
Something I see also are the addictive nature people have to likes. You know what I mean? Like, I know people out there that they need those likes. If they don't get the likes, their day is shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, because they were hyped when they posted that picture. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of corny. And what is a like? What does that mean? What does it take for someone to put a heart on your, you know what I mean, or your picture or something like that?
Sounds too easy.
Yeah. Why would you let that even define your day or, you know what I mean, how you want things to go? Like, I don't know. I try not to let that, but I was caught up in that at some point. You know what I mean? Like back when I was making a ton of mixtapes, I was like, yo, if that post didn't get a certain amount of likes or something like that, people might not be feeling it.
Validation.
Yeah, but it's sometimes not even related. You know how many people look at a girl's picture and be like, oh, shorty's cute. I'm not putting my like on there because I'm not sure who's gonna look at this and see that make me look like a thirst trap. But you know what I mean? People are looking at it. You can't validate it on that. There's so many different factors.
Yo, there was there's a Netflix series, right, that they're taking different situations and making them futuristic, and one of the ones that they did, I gotta find it for y'all. Damn.
It's a series?
Yeah, it's a series on Netflix, and shout out to Keith, he's just right on it. But pretty much they were talking about likes, and people were walking around, and you get rated, you know, and it's like up to 5 stars, and this girl, she just, in order to get an apartment, she had to have 4.2. You know what I mean? Like, okay. It was like real intense.
Is that Black Mirror?
Yes, Black Mirror.
I thought, but as soon as you said it, I was thinking of.
Yo, and I just watched it, and I'm like, man, this girl, it's crazy how real it is. I mean, can you imagine living in a world like that where like your credit was based on how many likes, you know, how likable you are, your job position, your role. All dependent upon that. You couldn't get a car. You can't get a house. You can't. Your credit, like, it was intense. And I mean, if you think about it, that's how people are, though. You know, they don't feel comfortable in the car that they're in. You know, they don't feel comfortable in that house because of this amount of likes and da-da-da-da, you know. And I see sometimes, you know, we can all be out. I know you guys have experienced that. You can be out with people, and they're so busy. I mean, we just hit on this. They're so busy posting that they're not really into the moment.
They don't,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I try to really stay away from my phone, but then it's crucial too, just because we do things that involve the media to really show, like, yo, we have to have that content. You know what I mean? Just to, because people trying to keep up with us, but at the same time, it's like, damn, dog, I'm just really trying to live in the moment. Like, I just want to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Black Mirror, I gotta check that out.
I have not seen an episode of that, but you're like the 5th person that told me about that, and I want to check it out. But something that you brought up, a YouTube video I was watching the other day, it was like these models. They were showing up places, but they were showing up at a certain place, and the dude wanted to record them as they were showing up, and like 5 of them were like, yo, can I Snapchat first? You know what I mean? Like, can I do this first? Like, it was just weird. I don't know. It's like that's the culture where you just walked into a place. You didn't even experience the place. Now you want to share the experience of the place, and that's like, how much are you really experiencing it yourself? You know what I mean? How dope is that moment when you feel like you need to take a picture of it? Like, are you really enjoying the moment, or are you going to enjoy the fact that people seeing you enjoy the moment, quote unquote? You know what I mean? So we get caught up in that, and I think it's like Nisha just said. Imagine a world where people are living where your credit score and the car you drive is determined on likes. Some of them Instagram models are living that life because, like, that's they in their mind. If they don't keep getting these likes for the booty pictures they taking, how are they gonna pay that car payment? How are they gonna, you know what I mean, maintain that? And even if those likes don't equal in the dollars, in their mind it does, because that's the opportunity. Someone's gonna call them for a picture shoot or something like that. So
yeah, that joint be killing me. Everybody has booking info. Yo, like, come on, what are we doing here?
Well, people making money off of social media. I can't knock that.
Gotta love that part.
Yeah, making money out of anything is
yeah. But then people who, if you work at Verizon and you just want a bunch of likes, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it doesn't matter as much. So I don't know.
Well, you know what that makes me think of? Remember a couple months ago in the summer, we had that picture went viral, or a couple pictures of the teacher that had the really attractive body. Mm-hmm. But she was a lot of people. A lot of people had issue with the picture she was taking, or maybe had issue with the way that she looked. My issue was, why are you taking selfies in a classroom? You know what I mean? Like, if that was my kid's classroom, I might be like, take your selfie elsewhere. But other than that, I had no issues with what she was doing. There was a thirst trap, fantasy teacher, sexy element going on, because why are you taking selfies in a mini skirt in a classroom?
Was it a selfie?
It might have been someone saying, it might have been a photographer, which makes it worse.
Out here spreading fake news.
She could have had a timer on her camera. You never know. But whatever the case may be, she was taking some pictures, and I don't know if it was because she had a hot body, because her clothes wasn't necessarily inappropriate, but it was just so, like, there's something inappropriate about this picture. And people were finding a thing with that. I don't know if she lost her job or not. I didn't care that much about the story to keep up with it. But the fact that she could have lost the job, the fact that people made an issue of it, the fact that it went viral, is you could let social media really mess you up in a sense like that. You know what I mean? And mess up your financials.
I mean, jobs.
That's that. Yeah,
oh, yeah. I mean,
that's that picture. What's her name? Does it say her name? So we could just tell our listeners.
Tracy Brown. No, that's not her. Patrice Brown.
But what's so bad about it?
I don't know.
I don't. What's so bad about it?
Yeah.
I think the backlash that she got was from a lot of people that did not like the way that her body looked. It's
she's curvaceous.
Yeah. I think in some sense it brought up people's insecurities.
Yeah, people weren't ready for that jelly, I think Beyonce would say.
She had a really nice body, and she was if she did not have that body, and I think she took the same picture, I think it'd be less of a backlash. You know what I mean? And something came off inappropriate about that. Like I said, my issue was, it was more so that she's doing it on a carpet with letters on it and a chalkboard behind her. But beyond that, like, I can't complain.
Why they call her Teacher Bay? Like, you
didn't hear about this one happened?
Nah.
Well, you ain't missed nothing except for them pictures. But other than that, like, ain't nothing. Like, it was nice, but it shows you how the internet, people will just find something to backlash. You know what I mean? And I kind of fall on both sides of this. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind that being my teacher. I don't necessarily want a teacher taking pictures in the classroom, but, it's to each his own.
Yeah, man. Some people, I mean, and we live in a world where we have to have something to talk about. Like, we have to oppose something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, we all do have our own opinions, but goddamn, some shit, you just let it breathe.
You see that too with the shout to the Beyhive. I don't know how you pronounce it. Beyhive, right?
They gonna come after you for mispronouncing them.
Yeah, my fault. But they get into stuff with people sometimes, and it makes me think, like, because I was asking y'all if y'all fans of Beyonce at the beginning of the podcast, because is it reached the point now where people are just fans of her, or necessarily fans of her music? So meaning, if she puts out another album that may not be as dope as the last one, is there going to be a fall off of support, or is it just like, yo, I'm rocking with her, whatever you put out?
It's the cult, man. I mean, I just feel like she's worked so hard to build that up that it doesn't matter what she does. I mean, she could do whatever she wants. Beyonce is always current. Mm-hmm. I think she'll always be current just because of how strong they are.
I get nervous about that as a DJ because she makes music. She's famous for making. She made movies too, like Goldfinger. Let's not disrespect Austin Powers and all.
Goldmember.
Goldmember, is that what it was? Yeah.
I'm like, yo, in my head, I'm like, Goldfinger.
That was one of the original James
Was that
Goldfinger.
the James Bond one? Okay, but she was
Sean
Foxy
Connery.
Cleopatra. I knew
But
that.
she was Foxy
Whole lot of woman.
A whole lot of.
But you know, I mean, she acts too, but she's famous for music. You know what I mean? And I think you kind of, I prefer my musicians to want to keep up to date with their music, which I think Beyonce does as a performer. She's not slacking off at all. I just don't like it. Whereas, for instance, I didn't necessarily like J. Cole's last album. I liked a couple songs on there, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I don't think it's a bad album. It's just not my favorite. And if you were to have me put all of J. Cole's projects on a wall, I don't think it's my favorite or my second favorite. So he kind of like goes down a little notch for me, you know what I mean? I don't think, you know what I mean, he still is a rhymer. It's like, yo, I like your songs. I don't necessarily like your projects, you know what I'm saying? I like your I like certain, I won't say your singles because I don't think he really puts out too many singles, but I like this track, I like that track, I like that track. I don't necessarily like the whole project. I like you as an artist. I know if it came down to a battling contest, you probably could go song for song with somebody else, but it's like, give me that project, give me that, you know what I mean? Like Big Sean gives me that project.
Yeah.
He could hop on somebody's song, give you that verse, but I more so like his projects. You know what I mean? Because I think he's putting more into that, and that brings him up a notch as an artist for me. Whereas I had to get away from who you were dating, from what car you were driving, what kind of house you had, what kind of jewelry you had. Because I think we get caught up in the WWF of musicians and artists and things like that. And I'll stick to the music. I rather you get in trouble, Chris Brown, R. Kelly, something like that. Come back with some music. Show me that shows me strength in your music more so than anything. You know what I mean? So
I get it. I see where you're coming from, but that's where we're at right now with the social media climate. Like you can't just take the music anymore.
Separate the
you
two,
know what
right?
I mean? It's all together.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's worked for some artists. You know what I'm saying? Like it works.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce. I mean, you can't. And I mean, even her as an artist. She's married to another artist who's like a mogul. Yeah, I mean, so you can't really, unfortunately, you can't really separate the two. I understand what you're saying because think about back in the day, like even when you was bumping that Nelly album, I'm pretty, I'm pretty sure though.
You back there.
Yo,
check with the
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure if you were really into Nelly at that time, if there was a chance for you to see what else he does inside of that, like, you know what I mean, you would be like, yo.
Yeah, it's funny because just as I was saying that, I was thinking what's happening now with people looking into artists' lives and not just their music. It's not that different because think about when you got your CD case, you crack that book open, you crack the CD case book open, see if they got pictures with their homies. That, I mean, that
who
sometimes that was the best part. Exactly, who they shouting out. You go right to the acknowledgments part and all that. And I think now with social media, it's just that we see it hour to hour, minute to minute, whereas back then, back then was just maybe 15 years ago. Man. You had to wait for an album to come out, or you had to wait for People magazine or Double XL to put something out. And even back 30, 40 years ago when cats is idolizing these drummers and these guitarists and rocking with them until they're old, for years these guys don't put out new music, but their fan base is with them. They don't care. Like, that's my dog. He came from England. He was struggling, whatever.
Man, you can't... pretty much now you can't turn it off. Like you said, minute to minute, like no matter where we go, I mean, we look at our phones a lot constantly, but even if you go on TV, TV is trying to keep up with internet. You know what I'm saying? With breaking stories and whatnot and da-da-da-da. I mean, it's just, we can't turn away from the artist as a whole. And I believe there are certain artists such as J. Cole who go silent for a while. And, you only see him pop up at rallies or things that are important to him, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, wow, all right, he just comes out with this music and da-da-da-da. Like, we just venture off and they go left. I'm trying to figure out how I'm bringing this all back around, but... No,
I get what you're saying, because I won't say this guy pioneered it, but I think he did a really good job of capitalizing on it. Jay-Z, look at his 2 movies, Backstage and Fade to Black. So they brought you... Fade to Black was more the studio. Backstage was a tour. Yeah. He brought you into that life where you wouldn't have got to see it other than what you heard on the radio, what you read in that CD book, what you seen in the music video. So he's smart about doing that because he knew that the consumer had a desire for that, had a hunger for that, and he was going to capitalize on it. Real quick, because since we keep bringing up Nelly, how y'all feel about the social media debate of Nelly versus Drake? I think the debate was who was the highest at their peak, which I don't really know if Drake reached his peak, but was I guess the debate would be, was Nelly at his peak popping like Drake is right now?
Before we even dive in, I just think Nelly doesn't get as much respect as he should.
Nelly got joints.
Yeah, Nelly has. That's what I'm saying. I don't think people really understand. I mean, those of you who are listening and who are like Nelly, they talking about Nelly to Drake. I mean, Drake is now, Nelly was then, and Nelly. Actually, when was the last single? He just had a single that came out that went kind of crazy.
Marvin Gaye with Jeremiah, right? Yeah. I know you're talking about. It had the Marvin Gaye sample on it, but yeah, Nelly,
he had a crossover joint. But so say your joint again. What was the question?
I think the debate was Nelly at his peak if he's seeing where Drake is right now. And also I guess the element of it is Drake is not from this country. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? The fact that he came from another country and is popping right now over here, I think has something to do with it. Because Nelly was big. Nelly, if I'm not mistaken, this could be internet rumor, double check this, but I believe Nelly got caught with a tour bus full of a lot of drugs and walked away from that like pretty scot-free. So Nelly was big in these streets. Like he's sucker for cornrows and manicured toes. Line don't even really make sense if you really think about it, but you know what I mean. He has some joints, bro.
Yo, but I would say this. In my opinion, Drake is about as big or a bit bigger than Nelly was at the time. But I think what would be necessary to do would be to compare how each of them compared to their peers at the time. So Nelly was huge in hip hop at the time. Drake is huge in hip hop now. But I mean, it's just such a different landscape nowadays. Mm-hmm. Drake has, look at his connections to the Toronto Raptors.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's bigger than, yeah.
I mean, it's because he had access. If Nelly had that kind of access, I think he would be doing something similar. So I think it's kind of an unfair argument.
Wasn't Nelly like a minority owner for a basketball team at some point?
But I think that was after he got hot. No,
after the fall off. Yeah.
Which is a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
They were smart with his money, obviously. Nelly, I did the test the other day when I first heard this debate. I think Nelly. Just off the top of my head, I was able to name more Nelly songs than Drake songs that were just like meaningful to me. But if I was sitting in front of my Serato and you asked me to go track for track, I think I'm gonna be there longer with the Drake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sitting there just off of memory. Like it was EI, you know what I mean? It was Hot in Her. It was whatever, you know what I mean? It wasn't hard for me to come up with a bunch of them, whereas for Drake, I'm like, fancy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying
because there's so many though. I think you can't pick out one.
But I said if Serato was in front of me, I was like, oh yeah, that joint right there, that joint right there. So it wouldn't be an issue to pick it at all. Not to derail us though. Let's get back to Beyonce. Beyhive, stand up. I see y'all out there. Grammys. that was a big night, and she did bring home a couple, right?
Yeah.
I saw an acceptance speech or two. I didn't get to watch the show, but I caught a couple of recaps.
She didn't bring home the one.
She didn't bring home the big one, though. You know what I mean? She fell off like the Falcons did in the fourth quarter. Where you at, B? Come on. Nah. I think and I will definitely take whatever shots I'm gonna get for this one. But I heard Adele's album and I had not given Lemonade the full listen yet, just because the music video depressed me halfway through it. Because it's about, I don't know, I felt like you taking shots at my hero, Jay-Z. I ain't like that, so I couldn't get through it. But I do want to listen to the album and give it a full listen before I would sit here and ever try to compare the two.
You're about to compare the two.
I'm not gonna compare the two. I'm gonna say Adele's album for what it is. If you know, I mean, listen to that type of thing, is a pretty good album. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, they put a trash album up there. I just can't say that it was better or worse than Beyonce's. At the end of the day, though, there was a segment. I'll let Niche probably explain this a little bit better. There was a point where Adele won an award, and then what did she do with the acceptance speech? Niche?
Pretty much.
What was the award? Sorry, what was the award?
The award was for best album of the year.
Okay.
And pretty much what happened was Adele won. Adele won, and she went up there and gave her speech and shouted out Beyonce. And not only did she shout out Beyonce, she pretty much said that Beyonce should have won.
Why does did you see Jay-Z's face when that happened? Like, he looked like he was in pain. Like, don't do it. Don't say us. Don't put the camera on us. Like, he knew it was happening before it even happened.
Yo, Jay-Z hates, like, if he's not performing songs, he hates the camera being on him. I don't know if you remember that fight. What was the last big fight?
Mayweather-Pacquiao.
He was
I'm about to say in the elevator.
Sitting with the elevator. That was the biggest fight of his life. Yo, on the low, Jay-Z had some fights on camera. Remember that backstage?
When he stuffed the chick?
Yo,
I never saw somebody get yo. But I'm saying, during that Pacquiao fight, Jay-Z sitting at the biggest fighting event of our generation with celebrities near the front row. Cameras in his face. He's like, all right, buddy, just get out of here. He literally said something. All right, buddy. That's how you know.
I gave you 30 seconds.
Yeah, he literally said that. But yeah, what were you talking about?
Just his face when Adele made the comment about Beyonce.
Yeah, he don't want all that attention, man. I feel
because they didn't win. You know, he's like, damn, I lost, and now you put the cameras on me. Like,
I
thanks,
was
Adele.
gracious of Adele, but you know, unfortunately, it is what it is, man.
I mean, how do you guys even feel about the fact that she shouted out Beyonce. Then she said, you know, Beyonce, thank you. You've allowed my black friends to feel more. Oh, we're using the black. You allow my black friends to feel more comfortable with being themselves or something like that. Let me pull up the specific wording. I don't want does Adele have a hive?
Adele's got something out there. She's selling a lot of albums. I don't know if it's a hive, a queendom, whatever you call it, but it's moving units out there.
I'm on the site right now. It looks like Playboy is the chairman, CEO of the Del Hive, the Deli Hive,
the Deli.
The Deli.
I'm trying to think what she say.
We got the quote.
Here we go. The way that you make me and my friends feel, the way that you make my black friends feel, is empowering.
And that was a moment right there, right? That was the exclamation point, like gasp.
I mean, the big thing was, do you think she could have reworded that to make it a bigger moment?
You mean like make it more grand? I feel like that was a grand statement. You mean like make it
less
bigger
or more?
Yeah, because the thing about it was a lot of people were talking and saying that, you know, maybe she could have worded it and stood up for black women.
As instead of
saying
these, my friends and then / my black friends.
Instead of her saying, you know what, you make me feel more empowered and you make, you make me want to empower black women. You know, like, could it have been reworded differently? You know what I'm saying?
I think, number one, she's not from this country. And I'm not saying people who are not from this country can't have racist comments. But I've also heard people not from this country try to discuss race, and it comes across kind of weird sometimes because they're not looking at it the way we're looking at it. They're using a term that might be like, oh, you can't use that here. But then for them, that's just how they refer to things. I don't necessarily, from her comments, I don't think she was trying to be funny. I don't think she was trying to insult, but maybe I am the CEO of the fan club. But like,
the Del.
The Deli, the Deli. I think that she just worded it, and it wasn't necessary. I don't think she had to say it. I think she could have just left it at the friends comment. I think she maybe really wanted to tell you that she had black friends, or really wanted to point that, yo, I like that album, and the chick next to me liked that album, but homegirl over there, like that I wrote with, she really liked the album, and it might have spoke something to her.
Takesha. I mean, don't get me wrong. Meredith loved it, but Takesha drinks lemonade. You know what I mean?
Usually Takesha just carries the weed, but then she brought the lemonade CD and everything.
You know? But I think what people don't understand too is that, I mean, yeah, you see these artists on TV, right? But they're human. And I think when you weren't expecting to receive something of that magnitude, you know, and you weren't expecting, it's just like you're in front of all these people, you're saying how you feel. I mean, I don't think she rehearsed it, you know? So it's like, yeah, okay, she said how she felt. No, I feel as though no matter what Del would have said, it still would have been picked apart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, no matter what she said and how she worded it, people would still feel away. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we were talking about earlier with social media, especially. Like, just always wanting to be on the opposing side of something, you know what I mean? Or feeling some type of way. Like, no matter what. The Beyhive was coming no matter what anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they didn't.
The fact that Beyonce lost, so it was alone. That was gonna, you know,
maybe she knew that too.
Yeah, she knew that. Because when you look at the statement, I feel like this was like preempting all that backlash she was gonna get. Because when I listen to the statement, I'm thinking like, wow, that sounds like a statement somebody would give after they got the backlash.
Yeah.
And I personally think Adele's statement was genius as far as recognizing people's struggle, but not just that, because when white people try to I'd say, oh, well, I could see your struggle. Yeah, I read the letters from the Birmingham jail. I know. They just wanted to say, yeah, I acknowledge your struggle. But she also acknowledged what made black people feel good. Not just any black people, her friends, to be tuned into to what they're feeling. So I personally feel really good about what Adele said. Furthermore, I didn't really give Adele's album a good listen. I heard a little bit more of Lemonade. I didn't even give that a good listen.
Yeah, me too.
But I know from Adele's past work, she's a really good performer. So, I mean, if you're going to lose to somebody, it better be Adele.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
true, yeah. Was the Chainsmokers or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
But she Adele did receive Song of the Year, right? If I'm not tripping.
What, Hello?
Yeah, Hello was a big record.
Oh yeah.
I mean, her coming back and just everything about that record was hard to me. I mean, I listened to Beyonce. I listened to Lemonade. It wasn't my favorite work of Beyonce's, but at the same time too, I just appreciated her unveiling a piece of herself that we really don't get to see, in which, you know, Adele mentioned, but at the same time, I'm just like, man. And they were joking too. They were like, yo, Hov should get writing credits.
I think my beef with it is like, yo, if you win an award, don't bring attention to the people who didn't win the award. Like, I think it's classier to like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, not that Beyonce's gonna sit there and cry over that award, but like, I feel like I know what you're trying to do, but I think at the end of the day, maybe that would have been received privately a little bit better.
Nah, I'm saying, you know what? I respect it just because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Lemonade just wasn't for black women, it was also for women in general. So I think it was pretty dope of Adele to big her up, you know, just because from woman to woman, it's like, yo, like, forget all that, you know what I mean? On the biggest platform, I'm gonna let you know, you know what I'm saying? Black woman or not, like, yo, you deserve this joint too, on some G. Like, if not, you actually do deserve it.
And if you're Adele's people, you know what's coming after you if you won over Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you almost have to address, and I think that's when people address race a lot of the times. Sometimes they feel like race has something to do with this, or at least people feel that way. And let me get ahead of this thing before people jump on me. And I don't think Adele did it purely for that reason.
Nah.
She knew the racial element.
She knew the racial element, even if what she said was true and sincere. She knew that I'm better off saying this thing that I'm feeling. Whereas in most circumstances, you wouldn't say anything like that. You'd be like, "Thank you. You know, I want to get some great people." You wouldn't single anybody out.
Yeah.
But she like, I know the Beehive is coming for
because she totally shitted on the other competition too. Like, no shout out, no nothing.
Yeah, it was because there was no other competition. I mean, you know, and you know, that brings me to a point too where we were talking about just artists having that power, like understanding the power of that stardom or whatever you want to call it, being a star, you know. And if you're on a platform, utilize that power, utilize that time to be powerful. You know what I'm saying?
As in the
as opposed
speech,
to
okay.
And this goes to even, you know, artists showing up, you know, going to the Grammys or going here, going there, showing up to these rallies, how like Cole be doing, you know, on the low, not just to go, you know, to take pictures and show that he's there. Because most of the time I never see him taking the pictures of him being there.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to wrap it back around, but utilizing these moments to be powerful, you know, and I think that's really what Adele definitely did.
Well,
you got me calling Adele.
Deli. How y'all feel about when Macklemore did it though? I think maybe a year or 2 years before that with Kendrick, when he shout out Kendrick.
Yeah.
I believe in his acceptance speech.
Oh yeah, that's when hip hop. Yeah,
because he knew he wasn't supposed to win that. You know what I mean? And sometimes, to Nisha's point, you might not think you winning that award. You really was like, yo, I'm going up against Beyonce. I'm running up against Kendrick. I'm LeBron. I'm down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors. Man. So when you win that award, it's not. You win that title, LeBron is crying. LeBron is emotional. You know what I mean? He if he could have done it over, he might have did it differently the way he accepted that the trophy. So it's like the emotion does become a part of it. It's just there's always gonna be that racial element. We live in America. There was slavery for a long time here. There was the civil rights era. Race is gonna come up in things if you want it to, and you know what I mean. If you let it be an issue in your life. But it's more so, does it have to be in everything though? Like, you know what I mean? Does everything have to be?
Yes.
It feels like it though. I know. It does feel like that. So I guess Niche would be did you listen to the Lemonade album?
Oh, that's what I said earlier. I didn't fully listen to it like that. Yeah. I mean, the joints I did hear, I thought it was okay. Like I said, it was definitely different from what she did before. I just respected the fact of her unveiling herself. That was my biggest thing. You know what I'm saying?
From what the general message of the album was, there's some type of infidelity going on, and, at the end she goes back to being with him.
I mean,
how do you feel about that as a message to? I won't even make the race element to just females nowadays. Of I don't know how I got to word this carefully. I guess a mistake being made and forgiving that mistake, or do you take the we'll be the opposite artist to this, the Mary J. Blige and Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Angela Bassett burning cars in the video.
You gotta remember, Beyonce's Beyonce, so she could have burnt the car too, and we don't know. True. You know what I'm saying? So there could have been some situations, but I think the message. I think one of the message could be taken different ways though, because you can take it where I got from the album, and this is after the whole Grammys thing. It's like I finally get it, because I never really understood why she called it Lemonade. And it's like she was in a bad position. My interpretation, she was in a bad position. She made lemonade out of lemon. And I may sound wild slow to all y'all. Keith is looking at me like, Keith is looking at me. I think Rich put her head down over here. I honestly didn't get it, because I didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? But honestly thinking about it, I'm just like, wow, you know what? I like how that's powerful. That message is powerful in itself, like. You're going to go through these things with whoever you're with, and I get that, but it's like, what you gonna do?
No, it's true. But is it true? Like that they left that up to mystery, right? There's no.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too.
No one knows.
You don't never hear her speak about it. Nobody's going to ask her these things, and we all just assume, and that's how their relationship has always been, and Because
I feel like I didn't know about this before it happened. I actually had the free preview to HBO that weekend that the video came out, so. It seemed to me, based on the backlash that Rachel Roy got, that people in advance knew what this was about. And I didn't hear Beyonce do any press about it, so I don't know if you just had to be really into the Beyonce movement to know that album was coming and what the theme of it was going to be. But I'm more so, I didn't know the marketing campaign of it. I didn't know how people like really were going to accept it when it came out. So when it did, I didn't know what it was. I didn't watch it. I didn't know what the thing was. And then I got the vibe of it later and blah blah blah. But I think it's cool to the fact that, like you said, she's never done an interview on it. Jay-Z's not going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like it could just be a marketing employee. It could have just been like, yo, this elevator thing happened, this happened, that room was going on when we were on tour.
And they could
have
just
not
used
make the most out of it?
They could have used it to their advantage.
That was their lemons. And
at the end of the day, too, at the end of the day, there's always that open market with music, that Mary J. and that Keisha Cole lane where, LaKeisha is just like, fuck everybody, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I think Beyonce definitely utilized that, like to her advantage,
And you had asked about like the message, like what it means. I think Beyonce, I'm not sure if she's ever labeled herself a feminist, but her music definitely has that overarching thing of feminism. All as a solo artist, she's always had it. And I guess even in Destiny's Child,
the independent woman,
and all this stuff, just different ways of expressing feminism and your power as a woman, especially as it pertains to relationships. And I think this is just another form of feminism, that a woman could be strong and be resentful and have her feelings and all these things and be like, you know what, I'm going to make this relationship work. And it's also a showing of where she is in life, or her maturity, where someone in their 20s may be quicker to say, no, I'm going to leave. I can't have someone cheating on me. Yeah, I can't have someone cheating on me. And this is not saying that you're laying down for anyone as a woman, and this is me mansplaining, but it is not to say that you're laying down for anyone if you get back with the guy who cheated on you. It's more so to say that I'm making this choice because I have the power to make a choice, and I don't have to
stick around.
Exactly. I don't have to leave or stick around just because someone is telling me to do so.
Yeah, the choice is in you, and even how you said too, she never said that she was a feminist. I mean, she never says anything really, but pardon me, Beyhive. I'm not saying that she don't just say anything, but I mean, as far as leaning on whatever side, even in her clothing, that was a big discussion as well too, with her being a goddess. What she wore for the Grammys, everyone was coming at her head, saying that I didn't see the performance, honestly. I was looking for it, but with her, I guess there were people kneeling down to her.
Yeah, I saw a meme I only saw it for a meme. I didn't see the actual performance.
Either way, I didn't take that as her.
What is it? They're saying that she has like a god complex?
Yeah, I mean,
something like that. I didn't get that. You know why I clicked on that picture when I first seen it? I thought it was Aaliyah in Queen of the Damned.
When I see she was with an outfit like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought it when I first seen that picture and I clicked on it I had my Kindle or whatever and I clicked on it to open the article. I was like, oh, did somebody showing love to Aaliyah? They must have did a Grammy tribute. And I was like, oh, all right, well, it's Beyonce. I wasn't mad, but it was like I didn't see any issue with the outfit, but like I don't pay attention to the nonsense that people like. Everyone's gonna find something to complain about.
Social media gives everyone that outlet to do so whenever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, before social media, like if I felt a way about something, like you watch the Grammys at 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm like, yo, I can't wait till about 10 o'clock when Playboy wake up so I can tell him about it. So I get to
the next day.
my feelings get processed. Versus now, you could literally go on immediately, literally 2 seconds later, and say some crazy shit online to millions of people all at once. So I think that's what's going on. I mean, that part of it sucks that people aren't in the habit of processing and thinking about stuff anymore.
Yeah.
They can make an issue about anything. So when you ask about should race be injected into everything? Absolutely not. Though race is part of a lot of stuff, but I think when people in this day and age, when people are thinking about race and it's on the top of your mind, that when something happens and you can react to it quickly, but oh snap, that's racist. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's going on, just a quick reaction instead of processing it.
You brought up a good point earlier too with the message of the album. We're a very divorce happy culture where people are quick to go to that, and I like the fact that they didn't. That actually sends a good message of marriage, the strength in marriage that people should, try to work things out. Whatever the issue may be, it might not necessarily be infidelity, but we have to train ourselves as a culture. And I'm not the most pro-marriage person. Do what you want to do for everybody's individual relationship. But if you're gonna get married, I feel give it a certain type of respect. Let's try to make this commitment thing work. Let's try to make it happen. And I like that you brought that up. Maybe because you're getting married, the type of stuff you're thinking about. But I like that.
We want prenup. Yeah. I'm just saying, each his own. Like you said, I'm not gonna speak to. I'm not gonna speak on that. Still trying to figure all that type of action out. But yeah, man. I mean,
Now we out here, man. Shout out to the Beyhive. Hope we were able to entertain y'all. We see y'all out there stand up, man. And shout out to us. You know what I mean? We got it in the can. We just knocked out the Beyonce episode.
No, it gotta be the Beyhive versus the Deli.
Beyhive versus the Deli. And shout out to everybody out there listening. Check Niche out on. Tell them your Instagram and your Twitter.
Oh yeah. Check me out on Insta. At AYONISH. Niche, that's the Instagram as well as the Twitter. Snapchat, POWAYONISH, pal, Niche. It's me. Ha!
DJ Playboy on Twitter. Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY on Instagram. If you want to see pictures of my daughter, because that's pretty much all I'm posting. And other than that, Keith, you got anything you want to promote, man?
This is Keith. I'm not on social media.
Shouts to you.
I don't got an Instagram.
All right, Hope.
You can he getting married. Somebody shut down all forms of social media.
It's funny. I shut down my Instagram right after I started dating.
I'll make this last.
You're like, my name is Keith. Check me out on MySpace.
I'm like Avon Barksdale when it comes to marriage, kid.
Keep it low key.
I gotta learn it, man. I don't use the same phone twice.
But yo, shout out to everybody out there, man. Check us out, Perfect Talk Pod on Twitter, Perfect Talk Radio. And we gonna keep it coming at y'all, man. Make sure you check us out each and every week. We got the podcast going. It's DJ Playboy, Miss Perfect Touch, and Keith, man. Say out. We out to the people.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yep, Keith did it.